Yeah, so today's date is December 14th, 2012. I just seen, the story about the kids who were killed. Seemed like a condolences to them, but right now I'm talking about that later. But right now I want to talk about this video I'm making. It's going to have different parts, talking about different things. And right now I want to talk about, urban genocide. Uh, Pretty much, the definition of genocide is to, deliberate killing of a large group of people, um, particularly those in, a different ethnic group or nation or whatever. And that's why I'm naming this series that I'm making Urban Genocide. So, you put two and two together, bam. Uh, the first thing I want to talk about is gangs. I picked that topic because, the recent thing with, Rick Ross and GDs or whatever, mm, we just gonna go into deeper depths about it. Uh, how I feel about it, pretty much. Um, when I was in high school, I was affiliated with gangs, and you know, I've come a long way since then. And I feel, the whole process of thought of the whole thing, is kind of irrelevant. I say that because, if you think about the whole thing, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, they all died, with the belief of us having freedom from slavery, freedom from what have become of us. And to go back into date, a little history fact for you that uh, slavery has been around since before Bible times. And black people were not the only ones who were enslaved, or Africans, or whatever you want to call it, we were not the only ones who were enslaved. So for you to feel that the world owes you any and everything, you are certainly misleading yourself, because the Jews went through a hell of a lot more grief and triumph than we did. Uh, yeah. So, and another fact, you know, the Africans were already enslaved by Africans in Africa during that time and before that time. We were already slave masters. We enslaved ourselves. And the European came with, products that we didn't have. And the Africans sold and traded other Africans for it. And in turn, the Africans that were sold and traded were moved to America. So the next time, you want to point fingers and say, the white man brought me here, why you mad at us? You the one brought us here, you could have left us here, over in Africa. Just think that it's not necessarily the Europeans' fault that we're here. It's our own fault because we sold ourselves. So think about that. And I said that to say this, everyone knows about, neo-Nazis and terrorists and Ku Klux Klan and all that, it's all part of terrorism, and gangs are part of terrorism. It's to control or scare a certain group of people. So when you think about it, gang banging, it's terrorist. You're just like Al Qaeda or Bin Laden or whoever else. It's the same thing. It's just in America, you're not an external terrorist, you're internal. And to break it all down to you, uh, what makes you any different when you black or white or whatever, and you telling your kids to hate this group of people, to dislike this group of people, or to kill this group of people, or when you see a blood or you see a Crip, you see a GD, CMS 13 or whatever, you kill them, you hate them, you beat them up, do whatever. What makes you any different from the Ku Klux Klan who wear white sheets when you got that flag on your face, and you throwing up gang signs, and doing all that? Some gangs, they say they're not a gang, they're an organization, and it's still the same. You're still teaching and encouraging terror amongst people. And I seen one video, that people were talking about, the GDs. They were saying that, they're trying to, evolve and help the community, give back to the community. I mean, that's good and all, but the money that you got, you didn't get that from a settlement check. You didn't get that from an inheritance. You got that from selling poison to the community that you trying to give back to. You selling, crack, cocaine, or meth, or pills, or whatever you selling, weed. You selling poison back to the community that you trying to give to. You beating your own community up and then saying, here's 50 cents in a blanket and some Neosporin. Wipe your tears away, I mean, it's kind of backwards. So, I mean, I don't get how that all ties into helping the community when you're the one who is destroying it. And it's not just gangs who are doing this, it's people who not even in gangs who are doing it. So, with that being said, it's just a taste of what you are going to hear more and more as I make these videos. I chose gangs as the first thing because, like I said, the Rick Ross situation, but I mean, I just want everyone to, think about that, is, I think, it got more popular, with Lil Wayne and Jeezy, rapping it, and all the kids want to join. Oh, I want to be like Lil Wayne, and Rick Ross and Jeezy and T.I. Don't choose a real hero. Someone who's encouraging you to do drugs and pop Molly, pop an E-pill, whatever. It's not a hero. That's not somebody you want to be like. Be like somebody positive. I mean, it's your train of thought. You're gonna have your own way of thinking, but I'm just trying to help the youth with these videos, pretty much. Just think about it. Next time, somebody come up to you, say, hey, try and be down, what's up? Think about that thought that I try to instill in your head, that Martin Luther King died for you to have freedom. And yes, that is your freedom of choice. If you want to do that, that's you. But at the end of the day, the choice that you're making can lead you to the last decision that you ever make. Because everyone knows there are only two outcomes for that situation. Dead or in jail. It's an either or situation. Some people make it out and escape both of those situations, and I'm sure anyone who has made it out those situations can vouch with me and say, it was God's grace. He giving me a second chance to do better at, life. So just think about that. It's a life or death decision that you're making. I mean, and with generation getting crazier and crazier, is more young people, it's more scared young people with guns, than older wise people with guns. And you may say, well, how does that tie in anything? A scared person will kill you before a wise person will. And also, a young person who is scared feel that they have to prove to the world that they are capable of being the man or in charge, or they want stripes. So think about that. You'll get killed or imprisoned quicker by your own youth, your own friends, your own enemies. So think about that. It's two ways you can go: dead or in jail. Just think about that. All right.